Hello, my people. Hello, Mohammed. Hello, Nani too. And hello, Lucas. How are you guys doing today? How was your day? Did anything good, bad, awkward happen? Hello, NN. Hello, Higgy. Um, what's your favorite day of the week? Random question, I know, but I'm gonna say mine's Saturday. Pretty obvious. So, do you guys have any questions about females, the female mind, your dates, your dating profiles, free advice? So, hello, Pro One Theologist. He says, "Hey, Victoria, your advice about not being sabotaged by being too comfortable was awesome. Thank you." Oh, wow. So does that mean you tried something spicy to spice things up in the bedroom? And if you can tell us, what did you try? What did you do and how did it go? Let us know because that sounds pretty juicy. So then 92 says, busy work and school and the weekends because I get to play The Last of Us. The Last of Us. Okay, is that really good? Is that, I think I saw, is that kind of like an apocalyptic thing on Netflix? Or, yeah, Beardo, he asked me if I want to watch it, I think. How is it? And then Unknown says, hello, love your videos. Thank you so much for doing what you do. Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Unknown. That is very nice of you to say. Why are you unknown? Is there a story behind that unknown? Tubular Bill. Hello, Tubular Bill. And he asked the first question, which is, what is the obsession with women in height? All right, guys, pretty simple. If you guys have followed my videos, right? You know my thoughts on this, which is that women, and this is a theory, guys, but I think it explains a lot if you disagree. I'm not saying this is proven by science, but I'm just saying from my experience, it fits. And I feel like, can anyone like show me where it doesn't fit? And if so, I'll happily revise my theory. But anyway, it's like the sex drive in women, right? Okay. And thank you so much, Nani, too. I'll just get to yours next. Okay. I'll just finish my thought, but I really appreciate your super chat. So, the obsession with women and height, just quickly. Okay, guys. Women have a sex drive, right? The sex drive causes basically like an unconscious pattern to play, an unconscious program to play. And what it feels like is an unconscious drive to seek out a very strong, I'm going to say alpha male, okay? Height. It's one of the clearest signifiers of that, okay? The guy who's tall, he kind of towers head and shoulders, above the rest of guys. So you kind of know, all right, if I stick with this guy in a fight, he's a good bet. Do you know what I mean? So basically, this unconscious program, i.e., the female sex drive, is telling you find somebody tall, strong, competent, good social skills, someone who can advance you if you stick with him. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like it's kind of just programmed in us in a way to be like, oh, he's tall. I'm kind of turned on. Do you know what I'm saying? So does that mean they could only be turned on by tall people? No. But it is just kind of an unconscious thing. Like I'm sure you guys see someone who's like, a supermodel and you're like, nice. That's kind of how it is for us in tall. So that's kind of where the obsession with tall comes from. And if any of you guys have been to my lives before, I recommend a very, very controversial book, right? And in this book, it's sci-fi, right? Owner and owned. You can see in her fantasy, the men on this planet are like supersized in a way, like in height, and the women are kind of like small because tall and small creates this feeling for the girl of like, he's a man, he can protect me, he can take care of me, I'm safe with him. And even if you feel kind of like tall as a girl, you're like, if he's even taller than me, I can feel small, I can feel feminine, I can feel how a woman in society is supposed to feel. So these are all reasons why women really like tall guys. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of like a symbol for like masculinity. And you're like, you know what? If nothing else, he's tall because he can kind of give me masculinity that way. So hopefully that helps you guys get inside the female mind. And thank you for that great question because sometimes the simplest questions are the best, are they not? Because it's like, yeah, why do women like tall guys? Great question. So anyway, what are your guys' thoughts as well? Now, 92, thank you so much for your super chat. Sorry you had to wait. I just went off on that little explanation there. So 92 says, my friend tried to put me onto the video game 10 years ago, but I wasn't into it. But the show made me want to play the game. Lol. Oh wow. So yes, so The Last of Us. I guess you're saying it's based on a video game. And now the show's making you want to play the game. Very interesting. So would you highly recommend it? I'm guessing you would. Because it does it I did watch, I think, the trailer, and I'm like, this could be good. So thank you again for your super chat, Nani, too. I really appreciate that. So then I'll just keep going down. So Unknown says, wait, I already tried. Wait, so then Schblock says, hey, how live session nice. Hello, Schblock. And then Pro One Theologist says 100% put on the slow, sexy massage, did some light dom leg shackles, and one hand. Nice. And we both feel renewed and enlivened. Be very wise about the whole relationship. That's amazing, Pro One Theologist. Love it. Love it. You did a great job. Very proud of you. Keep it up. Keep going. I'm sure she, as she told you, absolutely loved it. Try something else next week. You know what I'm saying? Keep going down this route because there's a lot more there that you could go to. If she likes this light dom, leg shackles and hand shackle or whatever, there's a lot more she could probably get into. So keep going, if you know what I mean. Blow her mind. And I have a question for you. Has she mentioned anything she wants to try more? Because she might just have mentioned it, but I can elaborate on it for you. So, great job. Great job. So, what Rekka thinks says, hey, got a girl who came over my house and clothes came off before I got all the way. She felt cheap and bailed. Next week, she called again and flaked 20 minutes before, called the next day. I said no. Okay, what Rekka thinks. Well, to be honest, I don't know the full situation, but I'm going to give you a truth bomb. And I hope you can take it. I don't think you handled it well at all, okay? Because you said she felt cheap and bailed. That's common. That's very, very common, okay? And you have to be a little more understanding of the female mentality, okay? Think about the typical, like, red pill guy who's always telling me, how can I find females with a low body count, right? Okay, so then think about how a girl must be feeling when she's about to raise her body count. Don't you think that if she's buying into all this BS, then she might be feeling cheap? Kind of just like, you know, it's obvious, right? So be a bit more understanding there. Why she'd be feeling cheap? Because you guys are trying to shame women nonstop. And I'm not saying you tried to shame her, but you know what I'm talking about. Men in general are trying to tell women that they're basically cheap and low value if they are promiscuous. Stupid, in my opinion. But anyway, you can understand this mentality, right? So it's common. Then she probably was still kind of like into you, even though she had like a moment of insecurity. She probably needed a lot of reassurance in that moment that you being like, listen, I'm like a totally sex positive guy. There's nothing cheap about what you're doing. Like, I'm so excited to do this with you. I'm going to make it an amazing experience for you. And trust me, I would never judge you. In fact, I love female sexuality. I love women. And I'm just going to like build you up. Okay. So that's the kind of thing that she probably would have like really needed to hear in that moment. Because you could have told her, I'm not the kind of guy who's going to have sex with you and be like, ew, you're gross for having sex with me. Crazily enough, that's such a common mentality, and it really makes me sick. But okay, leaving that aside. So then she's kind of still into you, and she's like, you know what, maybe I can do it. So she called again, and she got nervous and flaked. Okay, so then you have like this no tolerance policy. She called the next day, and you said no, bro. Like, I'm sorry, but you guys got to be a little more patient with women. Okay, you have a girl who wants to have sex with you, and you're just saying, no tolerance policy. If you're a flake, you're out. Well, you have to understand, it's really a big deal for a girl to strip naked in the presence of a guy who possibly may or may not think she's like a disgusting, cheap whore or whatever for having sex with you. So just my point is, you need to be a little more understanding. You don't need to do what all these red pill people tell you, and it's just like, no tolerance. If she flakes, she's out. Okay. That's just my opinion, but it's correct. Okay. Because that girl might have had sex with you if you could have been a little more tolerant, a little more understanding, and a little more reassuring. I mean, she clearly was motivated to. She almost did it like 3 times. But girls are going to need reassurance, they're going to need safety. And I don't think this whole like red pill stuff necessarily creates safety for them. No, it's all about like trying to make yourself seem even more high value and, alpha than you are. But if the girl's already wanting to have sex with you, you need to focus more on reassuring her and safety. She already likes you. She's already attracted to you. She already wants to have sex with you. So she already thinks you're alpha enough. That's when the female gaze behaviors, and what I've also called the relationship matrix behaviors, or the second part of alpha in love, has to come in. Do you know what I mean? What Rekka thinks? What do you guys think? Yes or no? Your thoughts, please. And I will check it out in the comments. All right, so let's see. Any thoughts on that, guys? All right, let's read what Rekka thinks says. So he says, before context, she ghosted me before because we went out. I seduced her and she said she doesn't do it first time. So I'm like, okay. And she texted me saying she's not into hookups. I said, okay. So she ghosted me. Okay. This is very, very typical. Yeah, girls are a lot of girls are going to be saying this kind of thing. You know, I don't sleep with guys on the first night. I'm high value, especially if she has this like belief that, being a slut is bad and she should try to be pure, innocent, virginal. Then, of course, she's going to be saying things like she doesn't do it on the first date. She's not into hookups. Yes, because she has this whole idea of that classy is good, you know, sexually pure is high value, all that. So it's a very common mentality with women. So don't be all like confused and like, what do women want? Just understand that's a huge part of like the messaging women get in society. So for them to overcome that, they're gonna have to be some kind of like genius or sexter. All right, I'm kidding about the genius part, but they're gonna have to be like really thinking outside of the box. Okay. They're gonna have to be like hearing what Andrew Tate says and being like, That's BS. They're gonna have to be hearing what just pearly things are saying, and they're gonna have to be like, whatever. You got my point. So then what Rekka thinks, so she ghosted me for 2 weeks, then hit me up out of the blue, and then came over and was in my bed and bailed a second time. Okay, so she bailed twice. This is like the female gaze, bro. You gotta fight for her. You gotta really want her. It just astounds me sometimes when you guys are so quick to like be like, I'm the prize, and if she's not like crawling on her knees begging to suck my dick, then she's out or whatever. Like, she's gonna have insecurities. Truth bomb time. That's your job as a man to make her feel safe, okay? And that's it. Ugh. But no offense against you, what Rekka thinks it's a great story you're sharing with us. What do you think? And then he finally says, I promise I did and said what I could. I think she's a female player. No, she does not sound like a female player at all. Well, I mean, I guess to some extent, yeah, it's like part of game women use to like basically pretend to be more virginal than they might be, but nevertheless, there's partially a lot of truth to it. I mean, if she was a real female player, she wouldn't have a problem using her sexuality to like get what she wants from you. But yeah, I mean, I guess she could be just playing like hot and cold, and it's possible, but all right, yeah. Alrighty, guys. So let's see. All right, who wants to get the next question, guys? I'm trying to pick one for the next question here. I like what White Shadow 247 says. I'm a man, and if a man can't wait to take a lady to bed, then he doesn't deserve her, nor does she deserve someone like him. I'm not fully sure of that last part, White Shadow, so let me think about that. So, okay, we got a super chat. Thank you so much. Thomas Barron, thank you. So he says, I really appreciate your super chat, Thomas. And let us answer your question. Discuss low sex drive women, please, and the signs. Okay. So to be honest, I don't know if I'm the best person to discuss this. I definitely have friends who have a low sex drive, and I've definitely seen women talking about how they have a low sex drive a lot. Um, but personally, this is not my thing. However, what can I say about them? The signs. All right. Well, here's, I guess, a sign is they're not going to be like, well, I don't really know, to be honest. I mean, you could just say, like, first of all, they're probably not going to be too eager to have sex. Like, I feel like if you're dating someone who has a high sex drive, yeah, they might wait like 3 dates or whatever, like the required amount of time. But after 3 dates, they're probably going to be getting pretty turned on themselves, and they're probably going to be like, let's make out and let's have sex. Then, when you guys have sex, does the woman seem to enjoy the sex? Okay. Is she just kind of like, and no, I'm not saying she has to be moaning and screaming like a porn star, but like when you look at her, did she seem to be into it? Because from what I've heard, there's like a big difference between women who are kind of like into it and one who aren't really into it. Are they kind of just like waiting for it to be over and just kind of like, okay, like that's the quicker the better? They want it to be long and drawn out. Are they open to talking about sex? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like if you like sex, You probably enjoy talking about sex. You enjoy fantasies. You enjoy the sex when it happens. So if a woman like isn't doing any of these things, it's probably not a good sign. Like, yes, you have to be sensitive that people are going to take some time to feel safe and open up. But if a person, you know, there's there's low sex drive and then there's also like sexually controlling, which is another thing I feel like you guys should avoid. Because, some women out there, they really got, like, the guy by the balls, like, they're not letting him watch porn, they're freaking out if he finds anyone else attractive but him, they want him to, like, masturbate to a picture of them in, like, lingerie, and if he doesn't, then he's betraying them and he's cheating on them. I'm just saying, you have to watch out for that too. You have to watch out for, like, basically a sex negative attitude, and someone could have that and also really enjoy sex, but I would kinda watch out for both. Because some women out there, yeah, they're gonna have a low sex drive. It's common, okay? But there's definitely women out there with a high sex drive. But back to your question, the signs. If she's not sleeping with you and you're going on lots of dates together, I feel like you should be able to like ask or get some sense of why. Like what's driving it. And a lot of times it will be because, they have some sex negative attitude still, but I wish I could answer your question better, Thomas, but hopefully I gave you some good pointers. But my main point is I feel like you should be able to tell whether or not she's into it, she's liking it, she's having an orgasm, she's able to have an orgasm if she knows how to get herself off and tell you how to get her off. These are all good signs, and in my opinion, if she's just lying there, not basically trying to act like she wants to have sex with you, like whenever you see her, she probably has a low sex drive. And maybe a lot of guys have a low sex drive, so that works for them. But if you have a high sex drive, you definitely want to find someone both compatible with you and not sexually controlling, because I honestly feel bad for those guys who are just being like imprisoned in those relationships. So thank you so much for your question, Thomas. What are your guys' thoughts? Oh, here's another sign. If she likes the book Come As You Are, which is kind of like a number one book that is recommended for women with low sex drives to like feel better about their low sex drives. So you'll hear that book being talked about a lot among women, and it basically is like normalizing having a low sex drive for a woman. So that's another good sign. But yeah. What do you guys think? And I got oh god, what beef we're looking for? What? Oh god, your username. Okay. Thank you so much for your super chat. I really appreciate that. And you are saying I found some IG romance authors that demonstrate desire in girls. Oh wow, please do share that. And let's see if you shared. Can you share that in the comments? Sounds really interesting. And tell us more. And thanks again so much for your super chat. So oh, look at that. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, I'm going to check that out. And what did you learn from them? Can you elaborate? They demonstrate what they fancy. Oh, that would be very good. This is a good tip. All right, so I'll await your response. What to do literally? Oh, God, let's check that out for sure. Author Sarah Pertl, an elite reading. I'm going to copy that. So then we said, so then Adrian Martin says, "What's slow sex drive? She only hits you up like once a week for 2 weeks to text you and come over." That's fine because it seems like you guys are kind of more in like a hookup situation. But like if you're, I mean, I would say like once a week. That's probably like high by certain people's standards. But let's say you're in a relationship and she only wants to have sex once a week. I'd say that's supposedly normal, but I think it's low. What do you guys think? Um, Greg Mackey says, "Does it mean anything when a female worker always calls you dear?" No, Greg Mackey, it does not. That's kind of just like customer service for you. Okay, Mo DZN says, "A sign of high libido is if she has even a few pimples or a little bit of acne on her face. That's a sign of high testosterone." Okay, don't go by that. Like, I see what you're saying, but please don't just assume that if someone has acne, then they're like some kind of sex fiend or even has a high sex drive. Like, while it could be a sign of like high testosterone, um, I really don't want you guys just like assuming because it could be a sign of like she has a skin condition or she's had bad skin all her life. Like there could be so many other reasons for pimples that it just seems a little like scary if you guys just assume that she's into sex because she has acne. You know what I'm saying? So, like for example, I don't have any acne and I have a high sex drive. So, um, so White Shadow 247 says porn is toxic. I don't agree. Why do you think so? So then what Rekka thinks this? Come on, Vicky, she's sleeping with someone else if she's not sleeping with him. I don't agree. Then Alfie Shank says, "Hey, my girl with BPD left out of fear of abandonment after being obsessed. I was a bit emotionally numb and may have picked up avoidant attachment. I want her back. Do you have any advice?" I'm not really sure about these BPD people. Um, I mean, have you tried just telling her you want her back? Like, how did it go, Alfie? Um, Hello, Paul from Huntington Beach. How are you? And let's see. What Beaver looking for wood says they get their boyfriends to do it. Very cool. Yeah, I've been seeing that on TikTok. Like they read stuff that guys do in romance novels and then they like get their boyfriends to like, come here, come here. Okay, can you like lean up against a wall and then like kiss me? And then the boyfriend doesn't. They're just like, oh my God, like that was incredible. Yeah, I've seen those and it is good. That's kind of like what I'm telling you guys. Like, it's really not that hard. You just got to act just a little dummy, and the girls are like, nice. And they're turned on. Like, it's kind of that simple. So, Tony Montana says, "I see a girl who doesn't seem really affectionate to me, but only during sex. Is that why she hangs out with me? Having sex only without any serious future perspective. Any thoughts about it?" Um, Yeah, it's possible that she likes having sex with you because you're good at sex, basically, and you guys have good chemistry together, but she doesn't see you as like her future partner. And that could be for like a variety of reasons. Like maybe you guys just don't connect like personality wise, or maybe you come from different backgrounds or something, and she just doesn't like envision you. You know what I'm saying? It could be so many reasons, but the good thing is she likes having sex with you. But, have you tried, like, what do you think? Like, do you guys just not connect in person, or has she told you she's looking for something particular and you're not that? I'm curious. Um, so Hernan says, "Does walking away really attract women when they have said they're not interested?" Not really. I mean, it can make it go up, like depends on the situation, like, it can be it okay, just give me an example what walking away is in this situation, because I mean, is it better than just, like, desperately begging for her back? Sometimes, yeah. Does it show some, like, self-esteem? Yeah, but it depends on the way you do it too, and depends if the situation calls for it. So, give me, like, the actual situation, then I can tell you. So so, Blue Fake says, "How does a man keep up the sexual novelty in the bedroom that women crave?" That's a cool question, Blue Fake. I think that, first of all, I mean, I've got a lot of ideas. Okay. But basically, what you would want to do is figure out what she's into. Okay. And then you come up with like variations on that. Like, for example, okay, let's just say, let's take a pro theologist one's situation with what he did. He was basically asking that question on the last live, and he was saying, everything's comfortable, everything's good in the bedroom, but, like, should I try to spice it up? And then he did, and he brought out some handcuffs and some light dom stuff, and she loved it, okay? So, keep going. There's a lot more stuff you can do to dom a girl than just handcuffs. For example, there is oh god, alright. There's, like, a collar, there's a leash, there's spanking, there's pet play, there's DDLG. There's telling, sexual stories to each other. There's getting into the movie scenes she likes and basically reenacting them for her. There's getting into the romance novels she likes and trying to understand what she likes about them and then iterating on that. They're setting up scenes. Like, you basically have to be creative. You know what I'm saying? You have to be basically a sexual author. You have to learn what she's into and then try to come up with different scenes that basically hit on the things that she's into. Okay. So, yeah. I mean, for example, romance novels, they're basically all about the same stuff, right? They're basically about some strong alpha guy who's all slightly, arrogant or whatever. And there's just many different variations on that. There's a lord, there's a cowboy, there's, a football player. Okay. So you can see they're all different variations of the same theme, and they're just hitting it from different angles, if you will. So that's what you guys need to do. Simple as that. You need to find out what flavor of sex she's into. And maybe she doesn't even know herself. Like, maybe you guys don't talk openly about sex, but you should. And if she doesn't really know herself, you need to be a detective and you need to figure out the things that she said are hot and what's hot about them. And then if you can't think of what you should do from there, tell me in an email, my nonleatherlife@gmail.com, and I'll tell you variations on the theme. Do you know what I'm saying? So, what do you think, Bluefoot? So Dwayne Yoakum says, I had a girlfriend once who liked reenacting scenes from the TV program Hee Haw. Here's another thing you guys should do. And Dwayne, I don't know if you think this is like cool or uncool, but you guys need to be like positive. Like, if they tell you, oh yeah, I'm actually like really turned on by the TV program Hee Haw or whatever, be like, That's fucking hot. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? Be supportive because if you're not, they're not going to tell you what they're into. They're going to hide it for you for years because they don't want to be laughed at. And I'm sure you guys do the same thing for them. So, yeah. So, Pro One Theologist said, yeah, she had a threesome in the past, so I play out one of the guys she likes. She loves all that. So do I. Oh, wow. Very good. You get the Sexual Freedom Award of the Week, Pro One Theologist. So, good stuff. Everglades says, for the first time, I thought I had found someone I could genuinely love wholly, but she lives in a different state, and we talked about it, but neither of us were in a position to reroute our lives. Oh, God. He says, the sex was incredible. Since we have stopped speaking, I tried to fill the void, but non-sex just feels meaningless, but meaningless or empty to me. Oh, wow. Now, are you a woman, Everglades? Let me know. Then Six Fast says, wasn't the hee-haw guy joking? I'm not sure. I don't know if he's joking. I've never seen hee-haw, but that's what I'm saying. I'm like, even if you guys think it's a joke, it's not a joke. Like, some of the things I'm into, you guys would probably think like, oh, that's weird. Okay. So it's weird. Just go with what she's into. Okay. Like, we all know kinks can get pretty weird, right? So just go with it and don't shame. No kink shaming. Because you're just going to you're just going to hit a dead end that way. Your sex life is just going to be the same boring vanilla thing. You guys got to be comfortable with getting weird. Because that's how it's going to be endless entertaining for her, and you're going to become irreplaceable for her. You're going to become indispensable. She's going to think of you as the best guy she ever had sex with, because what other guy in the world is going to do that for her? It's going to hit all the places in her brain that stimulate her the most. They're not. No, they're not. They're going to go in, out, goodbye, I'm done. And she's going to be like, that sucked. That sucked, and I feel gross, and that was terrible. I don't even like sex. Possibly. So, because, like, it was so bad. That's what happens to a lot of girls, it seems like. Like, they have all these sex negative attitudes because society teaches them it's, like, bad to explore their sexuality. And then they have bad sex because they're not asking for what they like in the bedroom, and they're just accepting what the guys give them, and the guys know nothing about how to give them good sex. And then they think they don't like sex because they think that all sex is what they just had with that guy, and they didn't even have an orgasm, and they think that they're supposed to orgasm just from penetration, no foreplay, no clitoral stimulation, nothing. And they're like, yeah, I don't have a high sex drive because, like, sex is boring. And then some guy comes along who, like, actually is, like, good in bed, knows about the clit, knows about how to give him a little dom flavor, and they're like, oh yeah, actually I do like sex. That's what happens to a lot of girls. But for me, I kind of was, like, yeah, I like it. But anyway, so. Alrighty. The lights are on. So let's see. So Leandro says, I studied with a girl that was showing interest in me, like asking personal questions, maintaining sexy eye contact, being jealous when I talked to other girls. But then she posted an Instagram story with her boyfriend. I didn't know she had one. After that, I left the school and the online group we participated. Since then, she is watching all my Instagram stories, sometimes being one of the first ones to watch. Do you think she just want my attention or what? Well, I'm going to take your word for it and believe you when she honestly was, like, making actually sexy eye contact rather than just eye contact. And it's not that she wants your attention. It's like she likes you and she probably thinks like she's like got a crush on you. So does she want your attention? Um, Depends like how bold you are. Like you could talk to her even though she has a boyfriend and then she can tell you whether or not she's interested, you know? But why don't you just test out the waters? Just because she has a boyfriend, like, she can decide if she wants to leave the boyfriend for you. But just maybe say hi, ask her a question that references something you talked about. Ask her some advice on something or her opinion on something. Just get the conversation started. But does she want your attention? I don't really understand why guys are always like going to the place of, oh, she wants attention. Maybe she likes you. Maybe she's flirting with you. Maybe she has a crush on you. Maybe she's interested in you somewhat, even though she has a boyfriend. But is that just like, is she attention seeking for that? No. I don't know. So let me know. Duran says, lol, she said we need to hit it from different angles. Yeah, you need to hit the fantasy from different angles. Yeah, you do. So everybody says, had to get that off my chest. I don't really open up to people IRL about my dating escapades, so everyone thinks I'm made of stone. I also thought that until I met her. Yeah, it's really, rare when you really connect with somebody who you just honestly have like incredible chemistry with, and it's really hard to forget them. Even though there's plenty of fish in the sea, it's like there's not plenty of people like that in the sea, is there? And when you meet one, you might not meet one again for 6 years, 7 years, 10 years, maybe your entire life. So, yeah. So Tony Montana says, a girl at my job really seems to like me according to other coworkers, but she says she doesn't want a relationship for the next year. Oh God, Tony, don't fall for it, okay? She's gonna say that, and then some other guy is gonna make a move, and boom, they're gonna be in a relationship. Lots of girls say this, okay? And it's partially true, and maybe it's like 99% true. Okay, they don't want a relationship for the next year. Oh, I want to be single. I want to enjoy my single life. Okay, but they're always keeping the eye out for a guy still, for the right kind of guy. So if she really likes you, don't just take this at face value like she doesn't want a relationship so you don't make a move. Make a move, okay? And then great. You might even get the casual relationship every man dreams of because she herself is saying she doesn't want a relationship for the next year. Maybe she wants a hookup though. Maybe she wants a friend with benefits. That can be you. Perfect for most guys, right? So definitely make a move if the coworkers are telling you she likes you. So Adrian Martin says, I would like to know more about the relationship behaviors in between the hanging out, hooking up phase and how to smoothly transition because often when I like the girl more, I fumble the situation. Um okay, Adrian, can you give me an example of like what you do when you fumble the situation? Like what's a mistake you think you've made? Let me know because it's a great question and everything. Um okay. Thomas Barron says, first of all, thank you again, Thomas, for your super chat. You're awesome. Thank you. And he says, is it good for a man to dress and behave as a certain archetype, one that is congruent to his personality, such as biker, businessman, hipster, etc.? I don't think so. I honestly don't think so. Like I've heard this advice given to girls as well. Um, but I don't think it's necessary. But I think what it is good is to dress in the style of the girls you wanna date. Not in the style of the girl, but you wanna dress like a guy who a girl you wanna date is interested in. Like, for example, if she's kind of like if you're interested in, like, an influencer, you wanna understand how influencers want their men to dress, because just by really, like, having a good grasp of the style that they want a man to dress like, they'll be into you. The man's face, it's not that important. His body, it's honestly not that important. The style, though, it's very important. It makes a big difference. Okay? There's lots of guys' faces and they're kind of like, oh, it's just like a interesting face or whatever. The style is huge. Okay? You've heard girls say, like, every guy looks good in a suit, right? And I'm not saying you need to dress in a suit, but I'm saying the clothes make the man. I forget who said that. But anyway, so don't try to just dress as like like a stereotype. Dress cool, dress stylish, dress current, dress modern. You know what I'm saying? And dress in the style that girls are into. Like right now, I feel like a lot of girls they like a guy to wear kind of like some kind of open, loose, flowy, like linen shirt and maybe like some cool jeans. You know, there's certain things, like there's certain outfits that basically every girl really likes. And I see them on TikTok a lot too. They dress their boy like let's say some really like popular influencer girl gets a boyfriend. She's automatically going to start buying him clothes and dressing him in the style that she would want ideally for him to already have. But second best option, she's going to transform him into that guy. So if you can just cut to the chase and be that guy, they're going to be like, "Oh wow, that guy's cool. He has good style. Style is very important to girls, okay? Because yeah. So hold on one second. Oh, I'm gonna have to end this live soon. But does that make sense, Thomas? So yeah, I'm curious though. What archetype would you say your personality is? So then, and also, where did you hear this advice? Great question. Good Day says, I can see that you really know your stuff, and most importantly, that you genuinely want to tell the truth. Big respect. Thanks, Good Day. Chapeau 62 says, school sex education is the cause of all these problems. Um, I kind of, don't doubt what you're saying, but why do you think that, Chapeau 62? I mean, I didn't get any sex education in school. Like, it was just, yeah, actually, I remember one class, and I remember the woman being like, it was in seventh grade, and she was like, sex is fun. You guys are really gonna like having sex. Obviously, she liked sex and she had a high sex drive or whatever. And I remember everyone being like, "Oh my god, like why did she say that?" And just that was so like weird and gross to us at the time. But honestly, that was like she was trying. Anyway, besides that, I don't remember anything. Weird. What did you get, Chapeau 62? So Son- Leandro says, I would like your version to be true. Maybe it is. Maybe it is, Leandro, but you'll never know. Girls can have boyfriends and be interested in other guys too. They can have crushes on other guys. They can think, maybe this guy is better than my boyfriend. It's not like it's very common human trait. So Schblock says, I didn't realize style was so important. It's very important. So Spencer is the name, says, and also how come it seems like every time I try to schedule something with the woman, they cancel or don't follow through? First of all, you have to understand, from the female perspective, they're getting a lot of offers for dates, especially on dating apps. So until they've like met you, they kind of see, they kind of feel like, it's not a big deal if they cancel. Because a lot of times they assume, like this is what I assumed when I was dating. I thought guys were getting a lot of matches as well. But now that I've had this channel, I understand that a lot of times guys get like one match, let's say, or two matches, or they've got three matches in like all of Tinder. And then they're like really counting on those girls to treat those as important because to them, it's like they got like two options, let's say. And if one falls through, they're really mad. But like when I was dating, I was always kind of mystified by that. I'm like, wow, this guy's like blowing up, if I'm not responding because like, you know, there's a lot of like my Tinder, I had like literally 3,000 matches and I could get like 1,000 more just from being a girl. So they place a different importance level on these dates. They don't think it's a big deal if they cancel because they're kind of like, yeah, it's just an online date. He can get another date. We don't even know each other yet. Do you know what I'm saying? They don't understand that for guys, it's kind of like, nah, you're like, I'm counting on you. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's why it's normal. I'm not saying it's right to flake on people or whatever. I mean, if you do, you think you should be like extremely apologetic and stuff and like reschedule, but you know what I'm saying, Spencer is the name? That's why, in my opinion. It's just a completely different, like, different feeling about how important a single date they haven't really met yet is. Like, I remember when I was younger, I would go to clubs and I would give out my number kind of because I didn't know how to say no yet. That's another thing. Like, but young women especially have a big problem with this. They're raised to be such people pleasers that they're not raised to be blunt and direct. So when guys would ask for my number, I'd feel bad and I would give it out because I kind of like that interaction in the moment. But then when it came time to schedule a date, I kind of be like, yeah, I wasn't actually planning on going on a date with you. That's kind of like next level because we're actually going to have to like connect and talk. And I don't think I have anything in common with you, let's say, or, you know, I don't know anything about you. It'd be like meeting a total stranger, whereas at least guys on the dating apps have profiles, stuff like that. So, anyway, just don't try to take it personally. I know it probably sucks, but you just have to understand that's like most women's attitude. So, let's see. Let's see. DC says, "Am I the only person who thinks sex can be funny? Like, imagine aliens looking down and watching people have sex." Well, I know a lot of people share that point of view. Like, if you ever read a book about sex, they're always like, sex isn't like porn. Sex has a lot of, bodily functions and it's all wet and sticky. It's hilarious. I'm like, I don't like to think of it like that, but you're probably right, DC. So, Mind Warlock says, right, Tinder is in the business of men not getting responses from women if they don't pay. It's infinitely better to have balls and meet women face to face at a bar or event. I agree with you, Mind Warlock. It is infinitely better to have the skills or the balls. Mostly the skills. Maybe you're right. I don't know. And meet women face to face. 100%. So, yeah. All right, guys. Well, I can take like one more question, then I gotta go. But all right, let's see what Adam Nelson says. I got rejected by a girl in 2016 because I was fat, and I stopped trying after that. I still don't, even though I had opportunities. I gave up at the first step because of traumatic first rejection. Adam Nelson, your story is not uncommon. One of my closest friends, kind of similar thing. It's like some really harsh rejections just traumatized him for life. And yeah, I think it makes sense. I mean, that can really mess you up. Yeah, and I do wish that girls would be more sensitive about that because I didn't really understand that until so many guys from this channel started telling me the rejections they got really, really shaped their self image. And even if they're like a really good looking guy, they, in their head, thought they're hideous and ugly because some girl had said they're hideous and ugly at one point. Probably just as like a, you know, she didn't even really mean it. She was just kind of like doing what she thought a girl was supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? So that really sucks, Adam, and I'm sorry. And what about now, Adam? How are you feeling about it now? So Higgy says, "What's a good way to tell between customer service and actually wanting a date from you?" Don't don't do this, Higgy. Do not try to tell. Okay, first of all, you got to assume it's 95% customer service. You have to be very friendly. No, more like 99.9% customer service. Assume Here's what you gotta do, Higgy. You gotta assume it's customer service, and then if you want to go on a date with them, you need to ask them out regardless. Please don't try to interpret their friendliness as because, you know, they're paid to be friendly, they're forced to be friendly by the manager as they're interested in you. However, if you're interested in them, ask them out. That's it. Don't worry about this green light. Don't become a green light man, as I like to say. That is the ultimate nice guy beta move, all right? Do you like her? Ask her out. Even if it means she's like, ew, no, I was actually just being friendly. Okay. Well, you just had to ask because you're not going to live your life like that, going after what you want. Okay. That's the masculine attitude that girls appreciate. That's the type of behavior from a man that a girl finds attractive. So, and Adrian Martin says it's all in the eyes if they want you. No. Please, please. You have no idea, Adrian, how many guys have said things like, a girl looked at me and she wants me. Like, they think it's all about eye fucking and you can just like stare at someone from across the room and then she wants you. No. The girl's probably making eye contact with you. Please, don't worry about the eyes. Don't worry about the facial expressions. Just think about it like, hey, I like her. I want to get to know her. Therefore, I'm going to go up to her and I'm going to tell her, listen, you're so gorgeous. You probably get hit on all the time. But I'd be like a fool if I didn't ask you and I didn't try myself because you seem awesome. You have such cool style. I want to get to know you. Let me take you out. Okay, that's the kind of thing they're going to be like, okay, I appreciate that. Oh, I have a boyfriend, but like, thanks. You know what I'm saying? Luminous T. Ravenny. Don't be a green light man. 100%. Don't be a green light man. Don't do it, guys. Don't fall into the ultimate nice guy trap. That's actually a really good video idea I should make. The 5 top traps you will fall into if you're not careful and be transformed into a nice guy. Yeah, it needs some work because that's not going to fit in the title, but you know what I'm saying. That's going to be number 1. So, all right, guys. Well, I got to be going. But thank you guys very much for hanging out with me, talking to me, teaching me through your questions about what you guys are struggling with. Because the more I learn about you guys, the deeper my understanding gets and the deeper I can see like where we're going wrong and stuff. So I really thank you and I really enjoy this. And I really thank you for like being open with me and sharing like your situations and your questions. Like, it's really awesome, to be honest. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much. And if you ever want a coaching session, I do them for $60, mynonlife@gmail.com. And we can dive into your specific problem. And if you want to learn like Dom skills, even, we can even get Beardo in on it because he's a great Dom. So, all right, guys. Thanks again. Thank you for everyone who super chatted me. I really appreciate you guys a lot. Thomas and Wet Beaver looking for what? And Nani too. You guys are so awesome. Thank you. All right, guys. Peace out. Yeah, and chat post 62 says, yes, my account told me I was ugly. That was many years ago. What the hell, man? Why did she do that? It's crazy. That's so unprofessional. Send me a picture and I'll not of your face, and I'll tell you if there's any validity to it. And hopefully we can just crack that thought once and for all. All right. Bye, guys.